The recent Pokemon Day brought 3 exciting new Pokemon into Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, and today I'm going to be discussing each of their impacts in the competitive scene in depth. Let's take a look. Alright guys, here's our first Pokemon here. We're talking about Walking Wake. This is kind of like a Suicune, Entei, and Raikou fusion. Really interesting design here. Phenomenal stats if we look at this. Great special attack, very solid speed. This Pokemon could be quite the offensive threat. Gets really solid moves as well. Draco Meteor, Hydro Steam, which we're going to get to in a second, Flamethrower, and Hurricane. Has the ability Protosynthesis, which is what all Paradox Pokemon get. Nothing too special with its ability. But this move right here, new signature move, Hydro Steam, doesn't even have a description yet. Pretty crazy stuff. So, has 80 base power, doesn't seem that powerful. But in the sun, normally water moves do get weaker in the sun, but it's the opposite here. Hydro Steam goes up to base 120 power, so that's stronger than a Hydro Pump, for example, with 100% accuracy, which is pretty wild. This is going to be quite the counter for Sun teams. You do see some Torkoals running around right now. Those are just going to get walled. Already super effective on the plethora of fire types that are in those Sun teams, and has the base power boost from Hydro Steam. Crazy stuff. And I want to make out the point with this mon right here. Walking Wake has super similar stats to Keldeo. I mean, they're nearly identical. It's like 1 or 2 points off in each stat. I will say that Walking Wake has slightly more HP, but that's the only major difference that I see. So I think this will function similar to a Keldeo, which has been good in past metagames, normally running a Choice Scarf or a Choice Specs, and I think that Walking Wake will do the same. I don't really see any other options for it. It really benefits from that special attack boost, so I'm going to guess Choice Specs is the more predominant pick, but I mean, either one is incredibly solid on this Pokemon. Terra type, I'm not quite sure what you could go with. I think you might go Terra Water or Terra Dragon just to boost up those stab moves even further. I think it could be quite the offensive killer. Alrighty guys, second Pokemon here. It's another legendary Paradox Pokemon. We got Iron Leaves, which is the futuristic form of Virizion. I don't really know what you're going to want to run here as the item. There's a lot of different directions you can take it. Let's take a look at the stats first. Amazing attack, very good speed, and very good special defense. It actually has some good defensive characteristics other than its typing, which is, to be fair, lackluster. A 4 times weakness to Bug is not the worst thing to be 4 times weak to, but overall the typing has a ton of weaknesses and not a lot of resistances, so I'm afraid its defenses are going to be wasted, so you're going to have to run a more offensive set here. I'm going to guess like a Life Orb or a Choice Band is probably the direction you want to take this. Does get some really solid moves though. Close Combat is great coverage for this thing. It also gets Leaf Blade, which is not the most exciting stab move, but it's not too disappointing either. There are no drawbacks, which is nice. And then Psy Blade, signature move, and this gets powered up similar to how Hydro Steam does in the sun. This actually gets powered up in electric terrain, since it is one of those futuristic Pokemon which are based around the electric terrain concept. So that goes to 120 base power, which is really solid. 80 base power normally is still a solid move. I mean, it is a little disappointing, but it is better than something like a Zen Headbutt, so it does still one-up stuff like that. You also get Mega Horn here and Night Slash, which you could also insert into this if you felt your team needed it. Overall, I think this has a little more dynamicness. Going to be more variety from set to set, because you can go Choice Band, you can go Life Orb. I kind of like the Life Orb Swords Dance combo. I think that could be really effective. You could always do like a Focus Sash, or again, Band, Scarf. Those are all valid choices, and I think that gives it a little more flexibility than something like a Walking Wake, which is pretty much going to be stuck to Choice Specs and Choice Scarf. So yeah, those are the 2 legendaries. Now let's talk about the lesser known one right now. And our final Pokemon here is Hisuian Zoroark, which we originally thought was going to drop with the rest of the Hisuian Pokemon around that Pokemon Home update. But it turns out if you pre-order the new DLCs, you actually get Hisuian Zoroark as your pre-order bonus, which is pretty crazy. Really cool mon, a lot of people love Zoroark, and this is just Zoroark with a better typing. We're going to look into it right here. It has 3 immunities, which is absolutely huge for a Pokemon with lackluster defensive capabilities. Obviously that 55 in HP is pretty brutal, and 60 in both defenses are not helping it out, but you should be able to switch on Fighting type, Normal type, and Ghost type moves. We've never seen a normal Ghost type before, and it's super exciting to have those 3 immunities, and I think it can actually make it a lot better than normal Zoroark. You also do have solid attack and special attack. I could really see you going either way. Obviously that special attack is going to hit a little harder, but attack has some good moves behind it. You do have Bitter Malice, which is the new move. 75 base power and 100% chance to lower the target's attack. Probably not what you're going to run 100% of the time, but it does have a niche here and there. If we look at special moves, which are going to hit a little harder off of that base 125 special attack, you do have Shadow Ball, Psychic, Grass Knot, and Dark Pulse, which are probably going to be the main ones you're going to want to run on this thing. I could also see, I know we've talked about the choice items a lot, but I could definitely see this thing running choice items because it doesn't really care, as it's so frail that being locked into a move does not hurt it too bad. You'll also, of course, have that signature ability Illusion, which really is where the fun comes in with this Pokemon. You can put this at any slot in your team, and it will copy the slot of the last Pokemon. I know that sounds confusing. I might show an example right here. So as you can see, you do have to set your whole team up so that it knows which Mon to have an illusion of, but once you set that up, you can use it in really creative ways. Like if you have a Pokemon that's weak to fighting or ghost type moves, you're definitely going to want to create that as the illusion so that people go for those moves and they are immune, which is going to be great and provide you a free turn of damage. Looking at the physical side, I do want to take a look here. You got Knockoff, Brick Break, Shadow Claw, not as strong. I think you are going to be staying a little more special attack. Does not have great moves on the physical side, so that is something to keep in mind. You're going to go special with this thing, probably a Scarf or a Specs, as we've talked about them a lot. You could also go Life Orb. I think Life Orb is definitely going to have a spot here. You could even go Heavy Duty Boots, but I don't really see that being that frequent of a item. So yeah, those are our 3 Mons. I really think each one of them is going to have its own niche and help shake up the metagame a little bit. It's getting a little stagnant. I think Walking Wake is going to be the most oppressive by far. I think this thing that maybe a slight chance of getting banned. I don't want to jump the gun there, but I think it is going to be a super strong Pokemon. Then probably Iron Leaves and Zoroark, each having their own respective niches, but not being nearly as dominant as Walking Wake will be. So yeah, that is the quick summary recap of the 3 new Pokemon that will be in the competitive scene. That is all from me. Do consider subscribing if you learned a little something, or you don't have to, I can't make you. So yeah, that's all I have for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.